For those of you that have been following the channel, you'll know that lately I've been doing a lot of off-road stuff with trucks and SUVs. So when Ford said they were going to send me the new F-150, I had my fingers crossed that a Tremor was going to show up in my driveway. So when this blue XLT hybrid Powerboost or whatever it's called showed up, I was admittedly a little disappointed. But I've been doing some research, doing some reading and playing around with this thing, and I found that people in Texas that are without power have been using this truck to power their entire house. So I decided to run my own test. Take a look. This is some real hardcore bare bones journalism. This is some serious constructive consumer advice, and today we're gonna find out if you can sim race behind the 2021 Ford F-150 XLT with Pro Power on board. Obviously, we'll get to the F-150 again in a minute, but what I'm trying to illustrate here is the fact that, whoops, I can't, well, one, see my screen because it's too bright out here, but two, you can absolutely run this hybrid system, this F-150, the Pro Power onboard. You can run this thing for like days doing this. Whoop, that's a corner. Pretty cool. And I've binned it. Okay, so here's the thing. You can't just do this with any old F-150. The hybrid I have here has Powerboost, which essentially indicates that it is the hybrid. And then on top of that, it has Pro Power on board, which means that this truck essentially can act as a generator. And there's different tiers, and let's take the hybrid trim to start. The base unit, the base power generator, Pro Power on board that you can get is a 2.4 kilowatt system. This one is the upgraded 7.2, and this is the one that people are able to really run their entire houses on. You could run a dishwasher, you could run a laundry, washer, dryer, you could run a fridge on this thing, no problem. But let's assume for sake of argument that you don't want a hybrid for whatever reason. Well, even on the 3.3 V6 base engine on here, you can still get a 2 kilowatt power pack on here, which still is only about 1,000 watts short of what you get on most RVs. Now in the bed is of course where you'll be able to hook up all your stuff, and the idea is that you'll be able to power tools and whatever it is that you need as you're out on a job site or whether you're camping or whatever it may be. But the different tiers of Powerboost or Pro Power on board or whatever it is come with different plugs here. So I have the Big Daddy 7.2 kilowatt, which means I have the little spinny thing that you can power, like I said, your washer and dryer on. I've got two normal house outlets, 120 volt, and I've got two more. So I've got four full 120 volt outlets back here and a full spinning side thingy one. Now, I want to take a step back and go back to the original power figures that we're talking about here. The base system is a 2 kilowatt package, which is 2,000 watts. Then you go up to the 2.4, the 2,400 watts, that's on the base hybrid. And then all the way up to here, the 7.2 kilowatt, that's 7,200 watts. On most bed systems, Ford's not the only one in their F-150 to have plugs in their bed, but most plugs top out at about 400 watts. It's enough to run a chainsaw, maybe? Now, of course, the concern whenever you're powering anything from your truck, especially if you're out at a remote location or a work site, is what if it saps my battery completely dead? Well, Ford has this covered. Not only can you completely, keep things charged as you're moving, if you have tools or whatever in the bed, you can have them plugged in and, move to the next job site and still have them charging on your way there. But Ford will actually, and the truck will sense when it's losing charge on the 1.5 kilowatt battery, and then it'll spool and it'll run the engine to generate more power. And at max output, at 7,200 watts of power being spurted out from this bed, this Ford F-150 with the hybrid will run itself at max output like that for 32 hours, as long as you have a full tank of gas. Now that is why people are able to power their houses in Texas. So that little sim exercise, I could probably do for like 3 days straight. Now I know this video focused largely on, well, just the Pro Power on board, the generator, and the amazing power that this thing can sustain. However, I will of course do a full review of this truck in a subsequent video. But let's take it back to that thing that I was talking about at the beginning. I was a little irked that I didn't get the Tremor because I like the off-road stuff. But the more I did research on this thing and the more I kind of put things together in my mind, the more I realized, you know, a lift kit on the suspension, some dampers, some tires, and a little bit of underbody armor, and well, you'd have a pretty nice overlander here. But that sounds like another video altogether. So again, until we get there, I'll see you next time, and I hope you enjoyed the video.